Catholic? Okay, I think we're good. All right, so again, we're in search of ISO Faith in West Virginia PACE session 2021. And I'm Joyce Bybee. I'm hosting you today. I'm the manager in marketing and communications, and I do the social media for you in the diocese. And I also do a lot of writing for you under the hashtag Faith in West Virginia. So we do faithinwestvirginia.org, the e-bulletin, and things I write go into the Catholic spirit. So what do I mean by all this? This session is for you to toot your own horn. We are always in search of feature stories here in the diocese, so I can highlight and feature inspiring Catholics like you in our parishes, schools, and organizations. Our best stories that we featured the last year and a half have been generated from PACE in our 2019 sessions. And so we want to do that again. I want to tap into your ideas. And also today, I'm going to share with you some information to help you with news releases and photos and getting your information out to the media. So what is Faith in West Virginia? Faithinwestvirginia.org is a website we created here at the diocese to showcase you, the faithful. So our feature stories that we write, or I write, end up on that website. They also end up on our social media pages, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and in the printed editions of the Catholic Spirit, which come out the beginning of the month, each month. So Faith in West Virginia showcases you, as I said, in West Virginia. And it's like leading by example. We want to imitate these people. And the hashtag Faith of West Virginia means it's giving hope to people, rising above the odds, being a blessing, leading by example, choosing to find the good in others, letting others see Christ in you, and having faith in God above all. So on this screen, and let me move this out of the way for a second, you'll see several people that we did Faith in West Virginia stories on. This is Sadie Shields. She's from the Weston, Morgantown area. She moves around a bit because she covers a lot of territory. This is Sarah Booth. She is a music minister at St. Vincent de Paul Parish in Wheeling. And this is Jason Miller. He's from St. Paul's. He's a teacher there and also a very strong Catholic. So all of those stories are shared in Faith in West Virginia. And there it is. This is what Faith in West Virginia looks like. This is faithinwestvirginia.org. Since we had that PACE session in the fall of 2019, we've shared 29 stories of pretty dynamic Catholics. And there's more than 29 people because sometimes we've highlighted a couple, we've highlighted an organization. We like to stick it to one person or two people for the feature stories, just so that we can grab that example. It's not just, St. Jude has a fish fry. It's that we want to make it unique. So what's unique about the fish fry? What's unique about the person who runs it or gives the recipe, things like that. So we can showcase those amazing stories. And we try to do it so that we're representing all 6 vicariates, not just Wheeling, not just the Clarksburg area, but all over our diocese. But in order to do that, I really need you. I definitely need you to tune me in and to get me in touch with these amazing Catholics that we can focus on and showcase. So how do you do that? You contact me by my email, obviously here on the page, and there's my direct extension. But that's what we want. We want to feature people from all over West Virginia so that we can have a strong community. And as we have that strong community, we can evangelize like Bishop Brennan wants us to do and our priests want us to do, as parishioners, as the faithful. So, and as I said, all of these stories for Faith in West Virginia will be on our Facebook, our Instagram, our Twitter, on our website, and in the Catholic Spirit. So these aren't just stories that is like one and done. They're repeated over and over on platforms so that we can continue to share good news. So don't hesitate to contact me. I please request you to do so. give me that phone call, give me that email. I'll shoot you a call back if we don't connect. But you are my lifeline for Faith in West Virginia. I want you to know that, and I want you to know that you're very appreciated as my resources and my eyes and ears out there throughout the state. So, oops, I went the wrong way. Hang on. Okay, so again, help us, and you can do that by sharing all of our posts on social media about Faith in West Virginia, about these people that are in neighboring parishes and schools, or your own ones throughout the state, because what they're doing in their parishes, their schools, and their organizations oftentimes can be repeated in our own parishes, schools, and organizations. So we don't have to recreate the wheel for a program. We can let others inspire us to be that difference maker in our Catholic community and our community in general. Let's see, move on to our next slide here. And with that being said, I know I just blurted out a ton of you, and hopefully you have an idea before you came today of some feature stories you can share. But if you don't, I want you to think about that, and my door is always open. Give me a buzz and give me that email at any time so that I can reach out to you. If you think it might be a good story, just give me a call. I would love to hear about those interesting people out there. But also, how you can help me is let me know how we're doing. faithinwestvirginia.org is relatively a new site. It's one of the baby sites here in the diocese. We're actually revamping it as we speak. Behind the scenes, we're going to try to make that a little bit more hands-on. Maybe an app will come out of that. And then I also want you to give me feedback on our Faith in West Virginia e-bulletin. Both of these items are emailed to the faithful every week. We do faithinwestvirginia.org once a month. I should correct myself, but the Faith in West Virginia e-bulletin is emailed to the faithful every week. If you are not receiving that email, let me know and I'll get that to you. We try to fill it with, it's not just a mass supplement as it was once created during the pandemic. It has now become a resource for information on saints or current events in the church, holy days, other wonderful things that are happening. So if you peruse that, you can go to the dwc.org website, scroll down to the bottom of the page and click that Faith in West Virginia bulletin icon, and it says past editions. Peruse those. If you have some ideas for me on how we can make that better so that we're better serving you, I would love to hear that. We would love to hear that. Myself and Amber Chambers, who is our amazing designer here, we put a lot of love and effort into this. But without your feedback, we're just, we don't want to be stagnant. We want to just keep improving. And the same with Rob Wickham here at the diocese. He's helped so much with creating that faithinwestvirginia.org website. And we value your opinion. We value your input. So please share that with us. Don't hold back. Your constructive criticism is very welcome. And again, you can contact me directly through email, through that phone call. If you forget who I am, you can message on Facebook because I'm usually the one that reads those as well. So I am quickly jumping from that, and I'll take questions and comments at the end, but right now I'm going to quickly jump from that. Oh, let me clarify. If you want to interrupt me, please do so. Just put your mic back on if you have a question, because what I'm going to go over now is how to write press releases and take photos that the news will hopefully use. There's no guarantee, but hopefully this will help us all get better coverage in our local papers. And the number one fact to know when you're doing this is our local newsrooms are very, very short-staffed, and the more that we can help them, the better. But what does that mean? We have to have clear press releases, clean ones. We're not leaving a lot of questions unanswered. So the cleaner our press releases are, the more likely that they will be printed and used. And what is the key? The key is just to present your information well. You be the recipient. What do you need to know? Let's go over that. So number two, grab the interest of the reader and the newsroom with an interesting headline. So here's my small little example off the top of my head today is it's not just a fresh fish fry at St. John's. So you're not just sending a press release saying, oh, St. John's is having fish fry Friday, and that's the headline. Make it interesting. There's so many organizations that have fish fries. Make yours interesting. How about St. John's fish fryers hope to set record sales? Because they do. This isn't far-fetched. We all want our fish fries to do amazing and be wonderful to sell out. So use that. Use that as your headline, something like that, just something to grab interest. So once you get that interest, once you grab them by that headline, start with an interesting lead paragraph. Think fun facts first. Look at the headline that you wrote and repeat it, and then build on it with the facts that you need to include in the press release. So those are the details. The details are the 5 W's and the H. So I went to journalism school, and even in my high school journalism classes, what were those? Are the who, what, when, where, why, and how. So, and you can do them in that order to be precise and be clean in your release. And don't forget that contact information at the end of your release. And that is for the newspaper to contact you. So specifically, they want your name, they want a telephone number, and an email address. Give them the contact information where you will be available. So that means you're available during the business day and evening. So for me, I can always write my cell phone down because I usually have my cell phone with me. So those are information that they're not going to share. That's just in case they have a question on your press release. I wanted to give you an example of one of our press releases. We have a bunch. I thought maybe this might be an example of something you would do. This is an example for the diocese when we did last year, Bishop Brennan and all of our not all, some amazing musicians throughout the state got together and created this fabulous music video gift to the faithful in the state, Catholic and non-Catholics alike. We got so many views around the world for this video and so many amazing comments. How did it start with promoting it? We wrote up this press release. We interviewed several of the members who were featured in the video, drew up the press release, gave it to my boss, Tim Bishop, and our amazing assistant, Kayla Mirando, and they placed it on our letterhead, which you can do with your parish for your press releases. Place it on your letterhead, make sure there's a date. Here's the headline. We went right into our press release and named all the folks that were involved. Here's our contact information. This is what I was telling you about. So this is how you would delineate the end of obviously the end of the press releases here. The contact information for the media would be your name, telephone number, anything important for them to be able to reach you. These are a couple of the images that I sent along with the press release. What's important about this page? This is a cut line. For those that don't know the word, it just means what's in the picture. So the cut lines for these pictures, I wanted to repeat the information that was in the press release in the event that they get separated from the press release. And you also have to include the name of the image here. And in this case, this image here, this big screenshot we did of the actual video, it was the image is named Faith in Song PNG. It's the type of file I used. And then here's the cut line information. Same with this one with Bishop Brennan at the piano. I just, of quickly named it Bishop Brennan at piano, PNG. Here's the cut line for the song, which kind of gave a little synopsis of the whole story into one, in case your readers might just, as in the paper, just read the cut line of the picture instead of the entire story. So what else do I want to say? Oh, so if you don't want to rename your pictures, because sometimes you're sending them on a phone, you can describe them. Also, they might be sent like image, which is IMG1 or unknown. But anyway, connect those here so it's not a mystery to the media. If they have to take the time to try to figure out which is which, they may not use it. They might move on to something else. So you want to make it as easy for them as possible. Okay, this is just kind of like a pet peeve of mine. I'll just call it a bad habit. Don't use all caps in what you send to the newspaper. It's a very bad habit. I don't like when I receive it. I know you probably don't like when you read it. You don't know what's supposed to be capitalized and what's not. So don't use all caps, whether that be in your press releases, your bulletins, newsletters, so on and so forth. Only use all caps for emphasis, something that is very important, and that's kind of like a very casual style to use something like that, all caps for emphasis, but try to avoid doing that. And remember, the less work that you're giving the newspaper to do, the better. So moving right along. So the photos, and this is just an example of snapshots that might be included with a press release. So things to keep in mind for good photos to submit to the newspaper or to submit also to television. Oftentimes you'll see lately then local news stations are using the photos we send them, and if they're unable to bring out a reporter to the event that we're talking about. So 7 people or less is my rule of thumb. I don't know if that's documented anywhere, but it's just you can see them clearly, make the cut line interesting. And by that, you never know when the newspaper is just going to use your photo and not use your press release at all. So everything you want them to know about the information, throw it in that cut line, even if your cut line is 2 and 3 sentences or even 3 or 4 sentences long, because just in case they only use the image, you want them to have all the information there with the image. And with that, repeat important information in that cut line, that would bring those multiple sentences in. And then send them original files. And mostly anymore, newspapers are used to just getting everything in online anyway, but they want the original image. They don't want a screenshot. They don't want a image you snagged off of Facebook, because it won't have the file size needed to be a clear, crisp photo. So obviously you need to have those photos in focus. So if you give them the original file, it'll be print worthy. So this, not that, I figured I'd give you an example of what to do. So this is the several fire departments visited Our Lady of Peace School in Wheeling, and to highlight the event, this is just hypothetical, instead of sending the new newspaper this, which they're most likely not going to print for many reasons. Number one, these kids are all shaded and you can't see who they are anyway. There's way too many people in the picture. They're more apt to print this because it's an action image. It's easier to identify this young man and this wonderful volunteer fire department worker, and using the actual equipment, and then writing a headline or writing your cut line to complement that. So out of these two, this would be the one to send. Out of these two images, this is nice and clear, and it's a great picture, but it doesn't really say anything about the day. You can't understand what this picture is. So you want to draw people to the picture. This isn't going to do it. Plus there's so many people here. Here's my rule of thumb of 7 people, and you can see why, because it looks like a lot of people, but it's easier to manage and reel in. It's easy to identify these firefighters, these volunteers that came to the school. Here's some children, and yeah, it's unfortunate you can't put all of these children in the paper. That would be nice, but you can do that maybe on your Facebook page, your website, or your church bulletin. but this is a significantly different picture and more apt to be printed versus this one or this one. So I hope you understand and followed that tip. And I can always go back to these slides because as I said, we're really here to help you along. I'm going to stop my screen share here and get back to you so I can see you all. Okay, so you can unmute when you have a question, but does anyone have any questions for me? I know I did that really quick, but I didn't want to linger too much without linger too much on one slide versus another. I just thought I'd get through them all and then go back and see if you have information that you wanted to and to ask me. I don't see anyone in the chat. Does anybody have any specific questions? I hope that helped. See, I think we're good. Okay, this will be, as I said, put on the YouTube page for the diocese under their videos selection. As soon as that's up, anyone can access it. If you want copies of the slides that I used today as a PDF file, I can easily send those to you as well. But the most important message I want you to know is I value your input. I want you to reach out to us. I want you to know what you're thinking and any feature stories that you have, and what, as well as how can we help you, whether that's helping you with those news releases, whether it's helping you with your photos. That's why we're here. We're a great team. I love this marketing and communications department here in the Diocese of Stewardship and Development, and our web designers. You have an amazing support system behind you that's ready and willing to do what we can to make you guys look your best. So we appreciate all the time and effort you put into your jobs, because like us, we know everything can be a little overwhelming, but makes you feel good when you can help someone. So we don't want you to hesitate to reach out to us. All righty. I think that might have been a record session for me. It's funny to listen to myself talk so much, but all right. So if you don't have any questions for me, a few seconds here. Nothing else is coming up in chat. All righty. Well, I appreciate your time. Again, I look forward to hearing from you, and reach out when you can. God bless you all. Thank you.